Family Worship Primer, Episode 6.
Welcome to Bridgecast, an online internet broadcast hosted at paulthompsonblog.com. In today's broadcast, Paul may give reviews of books he's been reading, interview friends, explore church history, or consider current events, all with the hope to keep the lamp of Scripture on the narrow path. Listen in as Paul considers today's topics.
Well, by this time, we've come through 5 previous questions, all of them building upon another, and as we move into the 6th one, it's just in the same pattern. It will build off of last week's question of who made me, and of course, the answer to that, God. God made me, or who made you when you ask your children, and your children reply back, God made me. We want to ask the same question here in this question number 6, is what else did God make? If God made me, is there anything else that God made? And again, we want to let Scripture be that which answers all of our questions. So we ask the children, and you might just even start out right off the get-go, catch them up with the last 5 weeks worth of questions. You don't spend a lot of time on that, but just kind of ask them, keep them refreshed with it. You want their minds to be mindful and thinking toward these things. And then especially to ask this week's question, you want to ask and begin that process here through this one. Who made you? And for your children to reply back, God made me, and then follow it up immediately and just see what they say without doing any instruction or anything else. Just ask them the very next after they say, God made me, ask, what else did God make? See what they say. You might be pleasantly encouraged by that. They may say, well, God made all things. And if they say that, then it's clear they're listening to you. They're listening at church. They're going to know that God is the creator of all things. And so that's the answer. The question being, what else did God make? And then, of course, you want to get them to Scripture. Go to Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And I might put a secondary chapter and verse in your mind to give some extension, especially if you have some older children and you want to think a little bit more on this. You might include Nehemiah chapter 9 and the 6th verse where it says, You alone are the Lord. You have made the heavens, the heaven of heavens with all their host, the earth and all that is on it, the sea and all that is in them. You give life to all of them, and the heavenly host bow down before you. So who made you? Well, God made me. And then follow it up. What else did God make? God made all things. By the glory of God, or for the glory of God, we could then use some ongoing encouragement and teaching in this. When you sit down to eat this week, you might make a survey of the food that's on the table. And who made these potatoes? They might say, Mommy made those potatoes, and she did. She cooked them, she baked them, or Daddy made the steak. And sure, he was the one flipping them over and timing them for the perfection of taste. But ask more, who created this steak? Who created this hamburger patty? Who made these carrots? Who made all that we enjoy? Who made the sunshine? Who made the moon? Who made the stars? Who made the grass? Who made the water? Who made the fish? Who made the birds? Who made the frogs? Who made the worms? You might even just say, hey, let's make a list as a family. Get out a piece of paper and set it on the table and just ask the children to begin telling you things that God made. And you'll likely get a good, enjoyable laughter out of the project. And you're at the same time teaching them to think about the things God has made. So listen, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord bless your household. May the Lord bless your children with an increasing knowledge of the glory of God while they think through these things and about all that God has made. May the Lord bless His church with a pouring out of the Spirit of God in our day for the advancement of the gospel. Until next time, may the Lord bless you.
Thanks for listening today. Feel free to write Paul with questions or comments related to today's topics. Helpful links can be found at the blog link related to this broadcast at paulthompsonblog.com.